Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're checking out the Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Rufus Shinra. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Stay tuned, guys.
Take it slow.
Okay, so let's take a look at the packaging. So on the front we have a nice photo of the figure itself. And right over here we have the logos for the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Play Arts Kai. So here's a look at the sides of the packaging. Once again, we have the logos for the game. It's pretty much the exact same on the other sides. On the back we have a couple of screenshots of the figure itself in various poses. And down here we have some credits on the making of the figure. So here's a look at the inside of the packaging. And right over here we have a nice photo, once again, of the figure. Down here we have some text, so feel free to pause and read if you guys want to read this. And right over here we have the figure itself, in a nice window display packaging to showcase the figure inside the box with all the accessories. Okay, so here's a look at the accessories that come with the figure. So right over here we have quite a few pairs of interchangeable hands. We have a spare head sculpt. Down here we have a couple of guns, and of course we have the figure itself. Here we have the display stand for the figure, and of course we have the outer packaging. And down here we have the instructions on how to assemble the faceplates and the hands. So yeah, that's a quick look at the accessories. Let's take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a quick look at my entire Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake and AC figure collection. So these are all the figures that I have. We have all the AC figures at the bottom and all the remake figures at the top. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have Rude, Sephiroth, Reno, Aerith, Rufus, Red 13, Cloud Strife, and Tifa. So yes, I will have a review of every single figure here. So if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on all these remake figure reviews. So with that being said, let's take a closer look at the Play Arts Kai Rufus Shinra. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. So I've got to say, this is such a nice figure. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Rufus. He's probably like my least favorite character from Final Fantasy VII. But figure-wise, it's so nicely made. And you know, he's got such a nice sculpt, such a nice paint job. And it's a much different design from how he looked in the original game in AC. So this is probably my favorite design of Rufus. Very, very nicely done. So as you can see, his eyes are painted blue, and you can make out all the eyelashes and the eyebrows painted in there. Overall, it's not a bad head sculpt, it looks pretty good. And the hairpiece is very nicely sculpted. Gives off a nice shine in the lights, and you can make out all the strands of hair sculpted in there. So that's a look at the head sculpts. Moving down here to the body piece. So as you can see, he's wearing this super fancy looking coat. We have all these folds and creases sculpted in there. Yeah, such a cool design and a lot different from his design in AC. And here's the hand holding the gun. The gun is such a nice design. We have all these pieces of gold, all these little bits of detail. I can't remember the specific name of this gun, if someone can let me know in the comments below. But yeah, he does come with 3 guns, and they're all pretty much the exact same, just different lengths. And here we have the other hands with the newly developed ball hinge joints at the elbow. Moving down here to the waist of the figure, and we have this belt sculpted in here. I mean, it's got some nice detail, like very minor details, which I think look really good. Once again, we have all these belts and buckles, which are made out of a soft piece of plastic, so they're kind of bendy. I'll give you guys a look at the articulation a little bit later on. But anyhow, here we have a look at the bottom of the boots. Here's the side of the figure, and we have a nice profile of the face. Yeah, I don't really think the figure looks that great from the side. He looks much better from the front. I really don't know what it is. But anyhow, we have a nice look at the sculpting of the hairpiece. And moving down here to this purple collar. and all these like creases and seam lines sculpted into the clothing. Really nicely done. And of course the rifle with the scope, and you can even see like a shell sculpted into the rifle itself. I'm not sure if it's like a rifle or a shotgun, I can't fully remember. I think it is a shotgun. It's a very elegant design. I just think they did such a great job at designing all these new remake characters. And the other side of the figure, once again a nice profile of the face. And the jacket piece is pretty much the exact same on this side. I don't really see too many differences. But down here we have the hands without the gun. And of course we have all the belts and buckles, all these like straps and pieces of clothing and cloth that make up the outfits. And here's the back of the figure, and that's a look at the hairpiece. And moving down here to the back of the coats, and it's got a pretty nice paint job. It's not just completely painted whites. We have different tones here for the clothing. We have, purples, we have almost gray, different dark shades. It looks pretty realistic. The clothing looks very heavy, which I think is a nice detail. And here we have the back of this gun. Once again, we have all these belts and buckles, so nicely sculpted in there. And down here, the bottom of the boots. Okay, so here's how the figure looks with the alternate head sculpts. So this head sculpt is kind of smiling, like a smiling expression, which I think is pretty cool. And of course we have the coins here. This interchangeable hands with the coins. And then down here I have him holding the alternate gun, like this. It's almost like a pistol, it's super short. Although I've got to say, all the guns are pretty much the exact same, as you can see. I think they're the same gun, just different variations. So you can see for yourself, they're very, very similar. But anyhow, that's a look at the gun and the hand holding the coins and the head sculpts. Okay, so here we have a comparison on both of the Rufus figures made by PlayArts Kai. So of course we have the original from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And of course we have the new remake Rufus. So yeah, they're both completely different designs. So for the most part, they both pretty much stand the same heights. Which one do you guys like better? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so let's take a look at the head sculpts. So now I'm going to make a full comparison review on both of these figures. So if you guys want to check that out, then it will be on the channel. But for this video, I just thought we would take a quick look at the main differences on both of these Rufus Shinra figures. So yeah, the whole outfit is completely different. It's a much different design on both of these figures. As you can see, on the original AC version, he's all bandaged up. It's a completely different head sculpt. And even like the whole outfit, like the suits, is so much different compared to the remake. And of course we have the hand holding the box of Mother, which is a very cool accessory, I must say. And down here we have this hand holding this gun, which is a much different design from the remake gun, as you can see. It's a very smooth design. There's really not much going on here. He's basically just a guy in a white suit. So yeah, pretty, I would say it's a pretty simple design. Not my favorite design out of the AC characters. But yeah, that's a look at the AC Rufus. And this is the remake, of course. So this design is much more elegant. And here's the back of the figures. And as you can see, we have a much different design. So I think the AC version is a lot more broad. He's a lot more buff compared to the remake version. It just doesn't look quite right here. He looks way too broad. But yeah, this is a very old figure, probably like 15 years old. I really can't remember how old exactly this figure is, but it's a very old piece. I think this was the first figure that PlayArts Kai ever made from Advent Children. The remake just looks so much better. It looks way more natural, and it's a much better design, much better sculpt, better paint. Just everything about the new remake is so much better compared to the original AC Rufus. And here's the sides of the figures. So once again, a very different design. You can see the AC version is so much more buff compared to the remake version. It just doesn't really make much sense. But anyhow, that's a look at the upper body piece. And here we have the guns. Once again, a very different design. And the boots, I guess the boots aren't too much difference. So yeah, that's a quick comparison on both of these Play Arts Kai Rufus Shinra figures. And I also just wanted to give you guys a special look at Rufus Shinra beside Root and Reno. So yeah, these guys look amazing. This is pretty much the main reason why you guys want to pick up these three figures. They look great as a trio, and you know, I just couldn't imagine picking up any of these figures without the other two. So yeah, I would say pick up all three. They just look so good together, and they really help to complete the collection. So yeah, that's a look at Root, Rufus and Reno. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation for the figure. So now, I would say the figure's got pretty limited articulation because the skirt piece really limits the articulation at the legs. So you know, I wouldn't say the figure's got the best posability, but overall it's pretty decent from the top half. So let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, so as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. This is a very nice joint. As for the shoulders, we have these ball hinge joints, and these are also very nice joints. They're very fluid, and they move quite a bit, as you can see. As for the elbows, we have these newly developed double hinge joints, so we can pretty much bend the whole elbow all the way up like so. Very nice joints. So as for the wrists, we have these ball hinge joints. Inside the torso piece, it's super limited. So this here piece is made out of a soft piece of plastic, but you know, it just doesn't help to move the inside of the torso piece. So I think there's a ball joint in here, but you know, you just can't seem to move this at all. So as for the waist, we have a ball joint in here. And as for the legs, it's super limited. As you can see, this here like cloak piece is all one piece, which is connected. So you know, super limited. It does open up here at the side, which gives a bit of posability. So you can see the hips have these ball wretch joints, but it is very limited. You definitely don't want to display the figure in, you know, pretty extreme poses. As for the knees, we have these double hinge joints, and it does open up here at the back, so you can get some posability in there. As for the ankle piece, we have a ball hinge joint in there, and we also have a hinge joint at the toe. So overall, it's not the best articulation, but you know, I would say it's pretty decent for a figure of this design. So yeah, that's a quick look at the articulation. Okay, so that about covers it for the Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Remake Rufus Shinra. So guys, this is such a nice figure. You know, I didn't think I would like the figure as much as I do, but I would say if you guys are a big fan of Rufus Shinra, then yeah, go on ahead and pick this figure up. You won't be disappointed. It's a very nice piece, it's a nice design, and overall, it's an excellent figure. So yeah, I do recommend picking this figure up. Anyhow guys, as I mentioned before, I will have a review of every single figure here, so if you guys want to check it out, then it will be on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and be sure to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these remake figure reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Alright, take it easy guys.